Okay, so let's quickly discuss what we did in class today on 914. We walked through basically we reviewed the Mongol and Ming notes, but we also walked through. I walked through some of the other documents in class a little bit, and specifically talked about document 5. And document 5 is asking, what does the chart tell you about the Mongols? Because this one's a little different in terms of examining the primary source. So I'm going to hide myself out of the picture. So what does the document tell you about the Mongols? So you can see the Mongols have over 12 million square miles, right? They have over 12 million square miles. So more than anybody else, Napoleon, Hitler, Alexander the Great, or any of the other people. So for that reason, what you could deduce is that comparatively speaking, the Mongols had more square mileage and a larger empire than anybody in world history, is what you can conclude, right? By a lot, by almost three times, or almost three times the number, right, or twice the number combined. Or even maybe even somebody said six times the number. So it was still a significant amount more, right? And what evidence do you have? You've got data here that tells you how many square miles some of the great world leaders had conquered. Hitler, Napoleon. Napoleon, surprisingly, is a little lower than I would have thought based on what we learned about him, and Alexander the Great and the Romans. So let's take a look at that then. The Mongols had the most square miles under Genghis and Kublai Khan than any other significant leader or empire in world history. It says the Mongols. What does the chart tell you? It says the Mongols had the most square mileage under Genghis Kublai Khan than any other significant leader in empire in world history. What key piece of evidence from the document support your claim? Our chart telling us that the Mongols had 12 million square miles, more than three times any comparable empire in history. More than three times any comparable empire in history. So this would be your document and your chart, and your evidence. So if you need to stop this to get it, that's fine. But I'm going to move on to the next document, talking about the historical context, audience purpose, point of view of document 6, and the source with document 6. So if you look at document 6, and you remember that there was a little website here to enable you to look it up, and I'm gonna put that up, a little website here. You click on it, the first link comes up, and it's talking about Giovanni di Plano, who visited the Mongols at the Pope's command. He's credited with the first European to produce a first-hand report about the Mongols, even before Marco Polo. And so they both contained lives about the impressions of Mongol women, who at the time had more rights in Mongolia than China, Europe, or many other cultures, as demonstrated in the narrative when it talks about girls and women riding gallop and skillfully as men. We even saw them carrying quivers and bows, and the women could ride horses for as long as the men and have shorter stirrups, handle horses very well, and mind all the property. So they drive cars and repair them. They load camels and are quick and vigorous in all their tasks. Trousers, and some of them shoot just like men. So this is the type of information that we have to guide us. So again, what would be the historical context? The historical context would be, the fact that di Plano traveled with the women traveled as at the command of the Pope to visit the Mongols. The audience, anybody interested in learning about the Mongols, the history of women. Point of view is di Plano, right? And his first person primary source. The purpose to inform about the role of women in Mongol society. The role of women in Mongol society. So if you look at, don't forget to put these in here as well when you're looking at this. Don't forget to put those as well. So again, a European traveler who witnessed women in Mongol society. Who would be the audience? Anyone interested in learning more about women in Mongol society? The point of view. The Plano Carpini, a European traveler, at the request of the Pope. Again, very important to understand the Pope, in Europe has papal supremacy, so therefore they would travel at his request. The purpose to inform the world about the role of women in Mongol society, right? To purpose to inform the world about the role of women in Mongol society. This would be the purpose. Now, The question here is not asking whether the world would be better off without the Mongols, but according to the source, what role did women have in Mongol society? And they make it seem to make everything seem to ride horses just like the men. They have similar skills, as evidenced by the citation they carry quivers and ride horses for as long as the men. So they seem to be somewhat equal, as they wear trousers and shoot just like men. Okay, so again, some of them they seem to be doing some of the same work as men. Okay, and even though they have a specific role as women in society, but they seem to be on equal footing, a little more equal footing culturally than other societies, as noted, especially in that website. Okay, so if you need to get this, you can stop the video and do that. 7 is, I'm not going to go through 7. 7's the one that's going to be graded, but I want to provide a little bit. Don't forget to put the source. I want to provide a little bit of a hint here. So if you watch this, you get a bonus benefit. It looks like under Mongol rule, Columbia University educators. So it's talking about the postal system, but it's talking about the status of Mongol merchants. So when you consider the purpose, think about the status of Mongol merchants, as opposed to just the postal system. That's just an example. So again, this is we'll continue more with these documentation, these happy documentations, historical context, audience, point of view, purpose, in other units. So be prepared. This will not be the only time. This was a little more spoon feeding than you might be accustomed to, and than may be in the future.